start with the actual session, let me just start with a set of 2 to 3 instructions, not much. So for the map reading session, always make sure that you stay in an environment or any room you are possibly in your house. So in your house, just find a place in which you can openly speak, because unlike other classes, for map reading sessions, you might need to say some words or some statements which I ask you to repeat. It will only help you to get things better. So that is instruction 1. So just find a place where you're very comfortable in speaking. And second thing, it'll be much easier and helpful to you, so that you can revise and follow the class later if you can have a notebook and a pencil or pen, so that you can make notes whenever the discussion goes on to the actual class. So that is number 2. And third is regarding doubts. See, when you have more than 200 or 300 odd participants online, it may not be possible for me to address the queries of all the students when you raise hand. So at the end of the session, I will give my email ID. So if you have specific doubts, you can mail it to me. And I'll be clear on that. When you mail your doubts, please mail with reference to this classroom. Okay. So, if it is possible to, you just ask questions only related to this class, it'll be easy for me to address. Because, learning UPSC is like building different blocks of a puzzle. It's that only if you get all the different parts of the puzzle, the entire thing will make sense. So you just need to be patient for certain topics. Okay. And during the class, there might be chances where you might lose connections because internet may not be always at the same strength. So that time, if it happens, then you can just send a text message stating that you lost connection and you want me to repeat something. I will definitely do it. Okay, like maybe I'm in the middle of a session or a middle of a narration, and at any point of time it gets interrupted. Then you can definitely let me know so that we can address that particular issue. Now, before we start, just hold on. Okay, and this is the usual instruction which is given by the online team just for coordination. The point is this: when you join, please use your unique ID. Some candidates might be using their own names and joining. Rather than that, use a unique ID, so that it will be easy for the online team to keep track of it. And regarding audio, the audio issue will be sorted out. And because the video will not be visible when I'm using the whiteboard, I'll stop the video. So at that time, the audio will be very clear. I think that's the set of instructions they need to have. So just remember, like when the voiceover is there, when I have the whiteboard and photos, the video will not be visible, just as part of the class. Okay, so with the instructions said, I think we can definitely go to the part where we really understand what exactly is this class. People, I just want you to, make this clear. Just hold on. Let me just switch this off. Just a second. Yeah. So, see, understand this first. There is no subject as such, known as map reading. You really don't have something like that. Okay. If we don't really have something like map reading, why do we need something called as map reading? For that, I'll just compare one more subject. I will be handling 2 subjects. One is map reading and the other is geography. Geography will be handled by 2 faculty and I'll be one of them. One is by Mr. Karthikeyan. So you take geography as such. Geography is a highly conceptual subject. And, geography has large amount of topics which we need to deal in depth. And you're talking about a single subject in this case. You look at geography, geography is there for your prelims, and for your mains, it is there in general studies paper 1. Fine. You take map reading itself is not a subject, but what we have as map reading will be essential for you in multiple other subjects. For example, map reading will be very helpful in bilateral relations. I think bilateral relations, Mr. Govind sir would have handled many topics in bilateral. Maybe he might be drawing to a closure. It will be essential for world history part. It will be essential for your geography, of course. Both are very much interrelated. And it will be essential for your relation with current affairs. Okay, so those who joined late, I was just providing instructions for the first 2 minutes. So regarding class, you would not have really missed anything. Just follow up from here, it'll be fine. So current affairs. So 4 topics are primary. Apart from that, you will definitely get inputs on economics and society also. Like you'll be in a position to relate to these topics too. So as I told you, map reading spreads across multiple domains, not restricted to one single domain. Now, and second thing which I want to make sure is geography is highly conceptual and deals with a certain level of depth. Like every topic you learn, in detail. When it comes to map reading, we are going to learn large amount of factual information. Okay, and again, we're not going to deal everything in depth. Okay, map reading is more of a foundational subject. So once you get the foundation right, using this foundation, you'll be able to address multiple other subjects and relate to them. That is the purpose of the map reading class. Fine. So with this done, we need to understand the method which we use in today's class. Okay. I really do not, the method which we'll be using for today's class. See, just to make sure, when you have a subject like geography, which is highly conceptual, and I have a subject like map reading, which is mostly factual, I cannot use the same method of teaching. I'm going to use the same method of teaching for both these areas. I will be doing injustice to you. That's not the right method. So our point is to find a right method for map reading class, which is significantly different from your usual geography class. Is that clear? So to understand what method, this is the part. To understand what method we'll be using in this class, we need to understand something very different. And that is the human brain. Okay. Now, some of you might be wondering, what's the point of talking about human brain in a map reading class? Well, understanding human brain is very essential for UPSC preparation. The person is Anne Risen. I'll just take this one alone. Okay, no one is raised. So you just make sure that if you have doubts, you can send me as a text. You'll not be able to address all the hand raising options. To move ahead with the concept of human brain, like why do you need to understand it? Because you're preparing for UPSC and you need to understand which is the most efficient mode of preparation. Let me start with this. So you take your brain, you take a pie chart of 100%, you can roughly divide it into 3 parts. The first is very simple, your conscious brain. You ask me what is a conscious brain? Right now you're staring at a screen in your mobile phone or your laptop or your personal computer or whatsoever, and you see a screen and you're actually receiving visual information. At the same time, you're receiving auditory information. While you're listening to this, maybe the food which you ate for breakfast in the morning is still there in the tongue, and that is creating a sensation in your mouth. Okay, so conscious brain is the part of the brain which receives information from the senses and operates. Okay, now when a conscious brain is in operation, there is one more part of the brain, unconscious brain. Now, what do you mean by this unconscious brain? Well, put it technically, like right now when you're listening, there are certain aspects in your body which is normally functioning. For example, your lungs is working really well, your kidneys performing your renal functions, the digestive system is operating on the material which you ate today morning. So all these functions are involuntarily happening and are very essential, for complete metabolism. Fine. Now the last part of the brain, the largest part of your brain, is your unconscious, subconscious brain. Okay. This subconscious brain is very essential because this is what is responsible for long-term memory. And why are we learning long-term memory right now? Because for cracking civil service examination, it is important that we really store information in our memory really well, because you have so much of work to do and so much of learning to do. So you always pick up the most efficient method. Fine. If you want the most efficient method of understanding, of storing memory in your subconscious brain, then you need to understand an important character of subconscious brain. Before that, we'll look at a simple method in which you retain long-term memory. Okay. See, I ask you a question.
what is your name? Some candidates are still joining the meeting ID using their name, even though the instruction has been given. So much related to your name. I ask the question, what is your name? You'll be able to immediately answer without any problem. I ask you a question, what did you have for breakfast? Not today, you'll be able to answer on April 21st. Well, you really may not be able to answer until and unless you're storing memory properly each and every single day. So this is a question which you're highly unlikely to answer. Now, you need to understand, why do you remember your name and why you don't remember something as breakfast on April 21st? Well, immediately you can give an answer. Well, I remember my name because it is important. Okay, I'll give you a better answer. This is total nonsense. You remember your name not because it is important. You remember your name because of a tested method used in memory part, and that is repetition. Repetition. See, the best method of converting short-term memory to long-term memory is through repetition. Okay, and that is a simple reason you remember your name. Your parents call you by your name, your teachers call you by your name, your friends call you by your name, and this has been going on for at least more than 20 years. That is the reason you remember your name. Fine. Now we'll try to apply this to map reading. Let's say that you want to learn about list of countries, their capital cities, their major cities, their ports, the mountain ranges, deserts, rivers. You create a huge list and then start repeating. Okay, keep punching your heart. And once you punch your heart for 5 million times, you will die due to internal bleeding. Okay. I'm really serious. See, repetition is an effective method of learning only for simpler things like names. You can't create a huge list of information and then really try to understand the entire list, just by repetition. Which means we need to have an efficient method of storing long-term memory, and that is when the subconscious brain comes into picture. Okay, so to understand the subconscious brain and to understand the most effective method of storing information in your brain, we'll talk about an interesting concept: dreams. I believe every one of you had dreams last night. The reason why I'm asking about dreams is you will get good dreams, or let's say that you will get dreams only when you sleep well. You sleep at least 7 to 8 hours a day properly. I mean, I'm saying proper sleep without any interruption. You should get at least 10 to 12 dreams, in your actual 7 hours of sleep. This is the average for a human being. Now, if you think about dreams, technically, most of the dreams are, they have a kind of character which cannot be really described using a logical term. I'll just give you one example. A dream which I had 5 years earlier. Using that, we'll try to connect today with reference to today's class. Okay, so this dream was, I think, 4 to 5 years earlier, quite long back, but I still remember it vividly. It was near an older house where we used to stay in Coimbatore. It was there in the second floor. So I was there on the road and I was chased by 200 dogs. And I kept running. The dogs did not stop. The dogs kept on chasing me throughout the road. Then I went up inside the building. They started following me. I came up to the first floor. Dogs chased me. I went to the second floor. They still kept following me. And from the second floor, I jumped down to the ground again. And all the dogs jumped along with me. And that was a nightmare. And I just woke up. And then the next day, I Googled for what does it mean when you get chased by dogs in your dreams. It stated that it simply means that you're under extreme stress, which is very normal for any UPSC aspirant. Fine. See, the point I'm trying to make here is not that if you prepare for UPSC, you will get chased by dogs in your dreams. That is not the point. The point is, you'll never have 200 dogs chasing in your life. It simply doesn't happen in real life. Okay, 200 dogs chasing is completely illogical. This is the key word, my dear friends. Illogical. Fine. The subconscious brain does not understand logic. It's highly logical. For example, the subconscious brain likes a house. Okay, it likes Superman. The house will fly in your dream. That's all. You cannot go and tell your brain and state that, you know what, there is something called as gravity. Okay. Now, let me just give you simple examples of mnemonics. Fine. Uh, Colors are good mnemonics. When you study, you can color code different parts in different colors. It can be red, yellow, blue. And based on the colors, you'll be able to retain information. Patterns are wonderful mnemonics. Shapes are wonderful mnemonics. Fine. Now, I'll do you something better. Now, I just want you to talk with me. I'll tell you the first three statements of this thing. And once I finish the first three statements, I want you to, repeat the fourth line. Let's see if we can do this. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high. And the fourth line, you should say that. That's why I asked you in the first instruction. Okay, I think I heard like a diamond in the sky. Fine. So you're telling me that since kindergarten, every single day you're repeating twinkle, twinkle, little star, and that is getting stored in your brain. Well, that really did not happen because the kindergarten teacher knew that music is a wonderful mnemonic. Fine. And the information is stored in your brain using music, and you're able to retrieve that information in spite of the fact that it has been more than 15 or 18 years since you've really not used that information. I think you're getting the understanding of why we need to rely on mnemonics. Now, if that is the case, what type of mnemonic will we be using for this class? Well, based on memory techniques and memory principles, if you want to remember large amount of connected information, then it is strongly recommended that you use this memory technique. Stories. Because we all love stories. Okay. So the map reading class will progress like this. There'll be two sections in the map reading session. Okay. We will have a story, and using the story, we look at different countries and continents for storing memory information. Once we have learned at least 10 countries in one set, then we will see the description part. In the description part, if the country is very significant for international relations or society or economics, so on and so forth, we look at what are their major exports, what is the current relation or current issues of international importance going on in the country, or is there something exceptional with reference to this country, what is a mountain or desert feature, so on and so forth. So class will be having two parts. So that is your introduction for why we have something called as a map reading class, and what are we really attempting to do when it's reference to your map reading. We are totally having, planning to have between 5 to 8 sessions, depending upon how soon we are able to finish. So with that, I think the introduction is ready. Now I just go to the map part for sharing photographs. And at that time, I'll discuss the question of atlas also, because there were many questions, sir. What atlas should we be using? Which part should we be using? So on and so forth. So I just get to that question. See, people, it's really simple. Fine. I think the instruction given was this. They would have asked you to get this, Oxford Student Atlas, 3rd edition. This should have been the instruction which was provided to you. Now, the point is, yeah, I do know that you don't have Atlas, man. Just hold on. Let me finish. Fine. See, when I talk about something, allow me to finish that point. See, this is the instruction they would have given. I know that you're already inside lockdown. You may not have the Atlas. If you don't have the Atlas, what do you do? See, they would have already sent a picture or PDF through Telegram, fine, regarding your Africa map, or including with reference to the world map. Sir, they did not send the message through Telegram. No problem. I think you know this search engine. Okay. Google for the particular country, you'll get it. Now, this is for people who don't have the atlas. Now, sir, I bought Oxford Student Atlas, but no PDF, fine, you can download it online. There is no issue. Or I'll ask the academics team to send it to you. Fine. See, for the class, I'll repeat again. For listening to these 2 hours and 30 minutes, you don't need the atlas. You can just follow the video because I'll be using photographs of maps. Is that clear? The PDF or Google you can use after the class. No problem. Don't hurry up. Don't disturb your parents. Sit in one place. Okay. So after the class, you can worry about this. Fine. Just listen to my words right now. Sir, I have got Oxford Student Atlas 2nd edition, sir. Fine. What to do? No problem. Between third edition and second, no problem. Between 3rd edition and 2nd edition, only one change will be there. Fine. In India, in 2nd edition, you'll have state of Jammu and Kashmir. For 3rd edition, you will have Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. That will be the biggest change. Apart from that, all the things will be same. Some will say, sir, I did not know about Oxford. I bought Orient Longman Atlas. Some would say, sir, I have Tamil Nadu Government Atlas. Some would say, sir, I have Andhra Pradesh Government Atlas provided to school students. See, the point is, listen very carefully. Use any standard atlas you want. I really don't care. Okay. Now you should ask me the question. If that is the case, why is the Academy stressed on Oxford Student Atlas 3rd edition? I'll give you the answer. See, in the classroom, if all the students have the same atlas, when I say a page number, let's say page 92, if I call out a page number, it'll be easy for everyone who's attending the class to go to that page number. You know, just instead of searching Africa Political or Africa Physical, I say Africa Political, the friend who's near you has the same atlas. You know, you can just look at the page number and flip over to that. It'll save time. That is the reason the Academy, you know, asks you to get the same atlas. That is the only reason. Apart from that, you can use any atlas you want. I'll repeat again. You need to be concerned about the atlas. You can simply, if you don't have the atlas, you can simply Google for images. School atlas is fine, and anything is fine. You can Google for images after the class. During the class, you can just listen with me. There is no problem at all. So I think that question is clear. So worry about it after the class. You don't have the atlas, simply Google for it, learn virtually, no issues at all. And if you like to purchase it, you have any subscription service which can deliver it to you in your house, you're welcome to get it. Fine, but right now, you don't have it, you don't have access, just use Google, that's all. So that ends the discussion on your, like, what material should be used. Use any, this is the only word you need to remember. Anything is fine, as long as you feel it's comfortable, as long as the atlas is outdated. Don't use an atlas which was published in 1987. That's all I want you to ask. Apart from that, it's all clear. Fine. Now, what map do we have here is the world political map. Okay, very colorful, isn't it? So in a political map, you'll find two primary things. You'll find the countries and the major cities. You'll find a lot of information apart from this, but these are the most important things you find in your world political map. Colorful, isn't it? So many colors, so many countries, so wide, but it really may not speak to you. See, I give you this promise before we start the class. Right now, this atlas may not, this map may not really mean a lot to you. Okay. But at the end of the class, this atlas will mean a lot to you. The atlas, the countries will speak to you. Okay. With that assurance, I'll just introduce one more map, which you ought to be using. Like when you learn it, maybe India or the world, your world physical map. Fine. Hold on. Just zoomed in involuntarily. Your world physical map. Okay. In physical map, you'll be having information on all the physical features. You'll have information on rivers. You'll have your continental shelf. You'll have deserts. You'll have mountains. You'll have plateaus. Okay. Lakes. All the physical features will be present in your physical atlas. Is it clear? And to start the journey, we'll be starting from Africa. So this is the lesson plan for today's proceed further. So I just told you, isn't it? I just told you that we'll be using story method. That's all I told you. I really did not tell you what, what story, pardon me for that, what story we're going to use. I just want to clarify it right now. See, there is a trend, not just in Tamil cinema, but actually in Indian cinema itself, you'd find the trend. Writing an original story is extremely difficult. Fine. For example, in, I don't know, people who are in Tamil Nadu will understand. In Tamil film industry, there is a director. He considers himself to be a big director. He has, I think, he's directed 3 films, which are hits. Okay, I'm not talking about who it is, but originality is very important. Fine, if you're not being original, then to create a successful story, we copy. That's all. Okay, so what Indian directors do is maybe they'll see a Hollywood film, maybe, yeah, I'm not going to comment on it. You can send any name you want in private chat, but I'm going to comment on it. So you can see a film in USA, you can see an Iranian film, you can see a Mexican film, and just take the idea and then, put the masala based on Indian style and then copy it and make it Indian or Tamil film. That's all. And the point I'm trying to consider is, see, I'm not a good writer. Okay, I'm not trying to be original here. I'm just trying to teach you people, that's all. So I'm going to copy. Okay, fine. So for copying, I'm going to steal from Hollywood. And my story will be, my dear people, Mission Impossible 4. I think at least a small section of people who are listening might have seen this movie, Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol. The hero is Tom Cruise. Fine. So men can imagine themselves as, okay, no, if you've not seen the movie, no problem. It's my story. Okay, we need not really see. So men might imagine themselves as Tom Cruise, and women, if you are there, please don't feel left out. Gender equality. You just twist the story. Imagine yourself as Angelina Jolie. That's all. So in our movie, we are going to do this. There is a villain by the name of Mr. X. Okay. And this Mr. X has access to nuclear codes. Our objective is simple. We need to find this person X before he sells this nuclear codes to one more person, which will lead to destruction of the world. Okay. So just keep that in mind. So you can either be Tom Cruise or Angelina Jolie. We'll start our journey with reference to catching Mr. X. To catch Mr. X, you'll travel the entire world. That will be our objective. Okay. Now, starting with reference to this, we'll start from our first continent, Africa. Just keep your pen and pencil ready so that from now you will be able to take notes regarding that. I just stop sharing and go to the actual content for Africa. So this is your Africa map. Okay. This just mentioned that the voice is breaking. I think the online team can just send it to me whether the voice is clear. Just get back to me, online team. The voice is okay. Because if you're saying it's, yeah, it's fine. So, okay. Thanks for that. Thank you. So this is your total Africa map. I'll just tell you where we are trying to start our journey from. Fine. See, this continent has 50 countries in total. Okay. And we'll be starting our journey from Northwest Africa. Now, people listen. Please don't worry about these things. Sir, I don't know what is an equator. I don't know what is Tropic of Cancer. I don't know what is Tropic of Capricorn. Relax. Fine. You need not worry about these things right now. What is equator? What is Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn? I will teach you in geography class. No issues at all. For the map reading class, I just want you to remember 4 simple things. If I draw an upward arrow and write the word N, it means north. Opposite is south. Just remember these words, W-E. That's all. Nothing complicated at all. Need not remember sun rises here, nothing. Just remember these alone for now. We'll discuss all these technical things later. V, west and east. So, during the class, I may be using the words north, west, northeast, so on and so forth. I just want to make it very clear. So, north, upward arrow, opposite is south. Just remember the letters V. So, when I use the word Northwest Africa, so from the center, moving here. Okay, this is the area where you're going to start your journey. Fine. So, this is the only thing you need to remember. So, with that in mind, we will start. See, always remember this. Our map reading class is starting with the reference to the atlas, and that will be the first keyword. Okay, so some of you, very small, some of you might be having atlas in your house. So just remember that single keyword alone. We are starting with atlas. Okay, and in Northwest Africa, here we have a mountains known as Atlas Mountains. First keyword, Atlas Mountains. Okay, so your hero is standing right here. So we begin our journey. We cross the Atlas Mountains and enter here. Okay, so now we are going to imagine something. Fine. So once you cross the Atlas Mountains, just listen to the story. You're meeting a rabbit. Okay, now this is where imagination comes into picture. See, when I asked you to imagine a rabbit, you would have probably done this. You would have imagined a rabbit maybe of so and so size, and you imagine the rabbit in white color or maybe brown or black color. That is a usual thing you do. The reason you do it is because white rabbits and black rabbits exist in real life. See, as I told you, if you want your information to stay in your brain for a very long time, if you go for conventional methodologies, the methodology is not going to stay in your mind. Please don't imagine a white rabbit or a black rabbit which is standing right here. Picture an animation. Picture a green color rabbit, fluorescent rabbit, orange rabbit, pink rabbit, any conventional color, blue color rabbit, mud rabbit, anything. It simply doesn't exist in real life. So imagine a rabbit, any color you want. Pink is fine, green is fine, fluorescent is fine. It's your imagination, people. See, that's the beauty of imagination. Even if I say a green color rabbit, the green color shade will be different for each and every one of you. So picture a green color rabbit, and this rabbit is a talking rabbit. Fine, talking rabbit will be a billionaire if you have a talking rabbit, but this is our story. Anything can happen. So talking rabbit is there. So you go to the rabbit and talk to the rabbit. Okay, let's say what? The rabbit says, fine, you go and talk to the rabbit. Rabbit, rabbit, I'm trying to find a person X. Okay, please, can you give me a clue? Rabbit says, see, X is a very dangerous person. Okay, I really cannot give so much of information, but I can tell you one thing, a very important clue. The first keyword in mnemonics, person X is a male. He's not a female. The person is not a female. It's a male. M-A-L-E. That's the first keyword. Okay. I just go to a zoomed version of the map so it's easy. No problem. The same map will get displayed. Just remember the keywords M-A-L-E. We'll just connect with the part here. Okay. That's a zoomed up version. So using the keyword male, which rabbit stated, look for the keywords M-A-L-E here in North Africa. M-A-L-E. M-O-R-O-C-C-O, Morocco. Algeria. L for Libya. And E for Egypt. Okay, so that talks about the 4 countries in North Africa which are bordering the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, it's that simple. So rabbit says male. So these keywords, please note down, because once the class is over, you might tend to forget. So male, Morocco, Algeria, Libya, and Egypt. Fine. So you're standing and rabbit is there. Okay, it's a bigger rabbit. Fine. Okay. So you tell the rabbit, hey rabbit, Egypt is very, very far away, man. I need to travel a long distance. I will get tired over a period of time. It'll be very, very boring. Fine. Rabbit says, I have an idea. Fine. So picture this. The rabbit is opening its mouth. Okay. Once the rabbit opens the mouth, from the mouth, a tongue comes out. Okay. Imagine whatever color you want. And over the tongue, you find a mouth organ. What do you find? You find a mouth organ. So from the mouth, an organ comes, and on the organ, you find a mouth organ. So you take the mouth organ, there is so much of rabbit's saliva, take your towel, rub that saliva, take the mouth organ. You ask the rabbit, why are you giving me a mouth organ? Rabbit says, see, I know it will be very boring for you. That is why I gave the mouth organ. Fine. Use the mouth organ. Start playing tune. Start playing music and walk a long way. If you play music and walk a long way, you will not get tired. So that is a statement made by the word rabbit. Tune is a second keyword. Listen, Tunisia. Tune for a country, Tunisia. Okay, so here imagination is very important here. So imagine any tune of your choice. You can imagine Beke Ali, or there is a Tamil film by superstar Rajinikanth which goes by the name Padayappa. If you're not seen the film, non-native speakers of Tamil, non-speakers of Tamil, you're welcome to see the film Padayappa. It's a very good mass movie, and in that film there is a wonderful tune. I can't sing that. I'm a very bad singer. I don't want to spoil the mood of the class. Okay, so you can just play the tune in your mouth organ and keep walking. Okay, so 5 simple countries in North Africa. Tune is the keyword. Tune in Tunisia. Tune in Tunisia. Okay, now to move ahead. Let's say you reach Egypt. Fine, you reached till Egypt. Reached Egypt. Right there you are. Simple here. See, let's take Egypt. Egypt. Listen. In Egypt, there is egg. Okay, and egg looks like 0. Looks like 0, and 0 can be said as nil, isn't it? So this is about imagination. Look at the words EG. Fine, there is an egg, and the egg breaks down. It is nil, 0. So this word nil is a keyword. Looks similar to a egg, 0. Nil is the keyword for Nile River. Nile River. You find this river here, people. Right there. So you can see that it is entering Egypt and moving into Mediterranean Sea. That is your Nile River. Nil in Nile. Okay. So you've gone to Nile River. Fine. It is looking that wonderful river smoothly flowing. But there is one problem. You are tired since you were walking for a really, really long time. You want to make sure that you find a better mode of transport so that you don't get tired. You just look here and there. Fine. And nearby, you just want the simplest mode of transport. You see a coir mat shop. Coir mat shop. I think you know coir, derived from coconut trees. Coir mat shop. Okay. See, this is our story. Anything can happen. This mouth organ which I gave you is a magical mouth organ, people. It can do anything you want. Is it fine? So you start playing tune. Once you start playing tune, this coir mat, which was lying lifeless, there was no life, suddenly comes to life. Okay, the coir mat opens up, and it opens up and stays on the Nile River. Okay, now you stand on the coir mat. After standing on the coir mat, use your mouth organ and start playing tune. Once you start playing tune, the coir mat automatically moves. You are not walking. Since you are not walking, you are not tired. That's all. This word coir is a mnemonic word. Note that down. Coir in this place. If you've guessed it correctly, you should be in a position to see where it is. Coir in Cairo. Coir in Cairo. There it is. The capital city of Egypt. Not just modern Egypt, ancient Egypt, also Coir in Cairo. Okay, now to move ahead with the storyline again. We have got your coir mat, you're smoothly going, there is absolutely no problem. But anyway, our story after a point of time, problems should come. Fine. When you're moving along this area, you find a huge dam here, where there is a very, very big dam. Now I know what you would have done. Once I said the word dam, you would have imagined concrete dam. Please don't do that. This is way too conventional. Okay, concrete dam is something which exists in real life. Do what I say. Just imagine a cricket ball dam. You know cricket ball? So the cricket ball can be red color, green color, pink color. I don't really care. So you imagine a cricket ball dam right there. Okay, so cricket balls here. Cricket balls. So many cricket balls are stacked up. And on top of the cricket ball, one person is standing. Okay, who's standing? Now, based on the costume, you will assume it is Superman. No, it is not Superman, even though the costume is worn by him. I think you know this player. I'll just write his name. Okay. Hold on. I think you know this player, you know. This player, Ashwin. Ravichandran Ashwin, you know, Indian off spinner, good bowler, has many records. Dhoni, no man. Our story, you need Ashwin for something else. Okay. Ravichandran Ashwin. Why do we use the word Ashwin here? Because you have an important place right there. Just look at the map right now. Follow this right here. Okay. You'll find this place Aswan. 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 Ashwin in Aswan Dam. Exactly. So that's the keyword. Why I'm introducing Aswan? Because in the place of Aswan, you have a huge dam which is constructed, and this will be essential. We'll see in description why it's essential. Okay. So just come back to the story again. Ashwin, ASWIN, in Aswan, ASWAN. So Ashwin is here. Ashwin jumps down. Superhero landing. He jumps down. Okay, stops you. Sir, wait. Please wait. Okay. You ask him, what's your problem, man? I'm Tom Cruise or Angelina Jolie. I'm trying to find this person. He's very dangerous person X. I need to go and find him. Why are you coming and disturbing me? You know, Ashwin tells you this, sir. I want you to understand there is a very, very big problem, okay, which is going on downstairs, which is going on is south of this country. So there is a huge problem. Please, sir, don't go south. It will create problems for you. You say, there's a common dialogue, you say, hey, I'm hero, man. I'm a hero. Nothing is going to happen to me. Whatever problem comes, I'll be in a position to take care. Ashwin says, fine, sir. If you are hero, you can do whatever you want. The problem will come only for you. But please, sir, I am asking you as a request, do this. Please take my car and go. Okay. He's a very nice person. See, he gives you his car. So again, don't imagine this normal Q-Burdle car. This is our okay, this is not a normal car also. This is something. Don't imagine this also. Imagine a cricket ball car. No wheels, no brakes, nothing. There's just one seat for you. You just press the button, automatically the car will move. Okay. So that's your cricket ball car. So he gives you a cricket ball car and says, sir, please drive this so that you don't get tired. And then you can march south. So he said, thanks to Ravichandran Ashwin, okay, who was in Aswan Dam. And then you start marching south. Okay. Now, when you march south, Ashwin told there is some problem. Keyword coming up. People are shooting. People are shooting in Sudan. Shooting in Sudan. So it'll be much easy if you could send a message rather than writing hand. It kind of disrupts the flow, whoever it is. Okay, just to make sure that you get it right. The volume is clear, you already checked it. So moving on with that. Shooting in Sudan. So that's the idea here. So to move ahead with the story, you are in your car, sitting here. And to get to a convention, usually followed not just in Indian cinema, but it is there in US or UK, wherever you go. Whenever people start shooting the hero, bullet will hit everywhere. Okay, but on the hero or the heroine, it won't hit. So similar to that, bullets are hitting everywhere. Bullet is hitting the car, but nothing is happening to you. Fine. So bullet hits the car. Note the mnemonic here. You have your car. Bullets come and hit your car. So once bullet hit your car, I think you know it, isn't it? You will get a tum sound. Tum sound. Okay. So car, bullet comes and hits the car. It creates a tum sound. If you guessed it correctly, you are in the right place. Khartoum. Repeat again. People are shooting. People are firing bullets. Bullets come and hit the car. And since it hits the car, you're getting a tum sound. Khartoum in Khartoum, the capital city of Sudan. Okay. Now, following up the story, bullets come and hit your car. Bullets come and hit your car. And after a point of time, the car breaks into two. Is that clear? It breaks because of shooting. So Sudan breaks into Sudan and South Sudan without any effort, the next country. Sudan and South Sudan. Okay, that's the next country. So shooting, Khartoum, and due to so much of shooting, the car begins to break down. It is that simple. Okay, now to follow up with the storyline. So shooting, Khartoum, breakage, and breakage leads to South Sudan. Fine. Now we need to go to the next part of the story right here. Now we are really thinking, okay, I should have listened to Ravichandran Ashwin. He was very much right. How do I get out of this problem? To get out of this problem, you have two options. Fine. Picture this. Imagine two people. Okay, you're right here, right there. Picture two people. Fine, two people are there. And one person's color is white. One person's color is blue. Just remember this. When I talk about blue color and then white color, please don't imagine white color costume, blue color costume. That is not how things are supposed to work out. Imagine a person whose skin color itself is blue. Imagine a person whose skin color itself is white. Blue color skin color, I think you would have seen in the film Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. So imagine a person white and imagine a person blue. Two people are there. And you ask them, help me out, man. People are shooting. Where do I escape? And both of them tell you, fine, sir, Lord Krishna, you're right, man. Smurfs, correct. So you just ask him, sir, how do I escape from here? Fine, they say, you know what? Both of us can't help you. Only one of us will help you. Okay. So let's just assume for the purpose of the story that blue is your favorite color. And since blue is your favorite color, you ask help from the blue person. Okay. You ask help from the blue person. Say, blue person, please, please, please help me out. Blue person says, don't worry, man. I have a solution. See, nearby, there is a highland. What does he say? There is a highland. I'll write the word, no issues. Mnemonic coming up. Nearby, there is a highland. Okay. So what we need to do is, we will need to hop over the highland. Hop is the keyword here. Hop over the highland. I think you know what is hop. Hop is moving in a series of jumping. So many jumps. Hop over the highland, we will be safe. You have guessed it correctly. If you're seeing the next country, hop over Ethiopia. 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 Hop over Ethiopia. Okay, so the blue person takes you there. Fine. So blue person is there. So you just keep on hopping over the highland. Hop, hop, hop. You're safe, man. No problem. And here is our blue person. Okay. And after you're saved, the blue person just tells you, hope you're safe now. And you say, yes, man, thank you so much. Now we ask the blue person, please, do you know any person known as X? Can you help me about this person X? I'm trying to find this person to save the world. Blue person says, see, I will help you to find this person X. But before that, please do one help for me. We are standing in a highland right now. Please look over the edge. What does he say? Simple. He simply says, look down, man. Look down. Look over the edge. The word edge is a keyword right here. We'll see how it connects. Edge. Look over the edge. Just look down. So from here, he's just asking you to bend over. So you're just bending over and looking what is actually going on. Okay, just looking down. Fine. So imagine this. You are standing in Ethiopia. Hop over Ethiopia. Right here. And from here, you're looking down and staring at the edge. E, D, G, E. The words E and D stand for mnemonics. Listen carefully. E for Eritrea. Eritrea. E for Eritrea. And D for this country, Djibouti, a very small place but very important strategically. D for Djibouti. 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 Okay. E for Eritrea and D for Djibouti. Simple enough. Now, technically, if you trust a blue person who has just saved your life and then look down, things should actually be okay. You're just looking down and blue person is right here. Blue person lands a kick on you. Okay, proper kick will be this, no? Yeah. Blue person kicks you. Once he kicks you, you're falling down, people. You're right there in mid-air after looking over the edge. You're falling down, falling down, falling down. Very, very fast. Maybe from a height of 1,000 meters. Okay. Pause. Now that's a pause button right there. Before we move ahead with the story, we'll need to look for description of these places. That's what I told you, isn't it? We'll have the story mode. And once the story is completed for some time, we'll go for description. Now, just one request from my side. Please close your notebooks if possible. Just close your notebooks. It's fine. It's fine. I know that the atlas is not on display. I'll repeat the last part. We'll get to the story again. No problem. I know that atlas is not on display. Just focus. Close your notebooks. Just think back to the story when I narrate. Let's see whether you can recollect all the points you've seen so far. Okay. So you had a mountain at the start because you started with something called as the Atlas. That's your map reading class. Atlas Mountains. You crossed over to the Atlas Mountains. So you cross it. Then you saw something of this much size big. So I told you any different color. You saw a talking rabbit. You remember? And you asked the rabbit for some sort of clue. Fine, you wanted to find X. And rabbit said the word male. M-A-L-E. Fine. M for Morocco. A for Algeria. L for Libya. And then E for Egypt. M-A-L-E. Then he told the rabbit, it will be very difficult for me. I need to go for a long way. It will be extremely boring, isn't it? So rabbit gave you, it opened its mouth and tongue came out. A mouth organ was provided. So you took the mouth organ and started playing tune. So tune was our next keyword. Tune in Tunisia, a very small country, north bordering Mediterranean Sea. So you used your tune and started walking. You crossed 4 countries, 5 countries. You were really, really tired. Fine. So once you were really, really tired, you wanted some other method. You were in Egypt. Is it clear? So in Egypt, we saw this word, egg is there. And since egg is there, egg just fell down and we just used the word zero, isn't it? Egg looks like a 0. And 0 is the word for nil. And we use the keyword nil to say that nil is where Nile River is present. The delta of River Nile is in Egypt. So in Nile River, you wanted to travel using some method. Nearby, you had a coir mat shop. Coir was rolled up and kept. You had a magical mouth organ. You started playing the mouth organ. The coir came to life and then it just laid on to the river, isn't it? You stood on the river. You started playing tune. Once you started playing tune, the coir mat went on its own. Coir was a keyword. Coir stood for the capital city of Egypt, Coir in Cairo. You started moving along the coir mat. Then you saw a huge dam, but this dam was made up of cricket balls. On top of the cricket ball dam, you saw Ravichandran Ashwin, Indian off-spinner. Fine. And Ashwin is a keyword for Aswan Dam, A-S-W-A-N. He got down. He told you it is not safe to go down. And since you insisted, he gave you his cricket ball car. You sat on the cricket ball car, okay, and started driving just by putting button. You remember, there is no wheels, nothing. Once you started moving down, I think you're getting the next keyword again. People are shooting. Fine. Shooting in Sudan. S-U-D-A-N. Shooting in Sudan. And when people shoot, you have a series of bullets. Bullets come in and bullets hit your car. And when bullets hit your car, there is a tum sound. Car and tum. Khartoum. Khartoum was a capital city of Sudan. And you have your car. People kind of hit you the car and there are so many bullets. The car begins to break down. It breaks into one more country, Sudan and South Sudan. You were scrambling for help. And in South Sudan, there were 2 people. One person was white, one person was blue. And he needed help. Blue was your favorite color. You asked the blue person. Blue person said, nearby there is a highland. Fine, listen carefully, those who missed the last part. Nearby there is a highland. We need to hop over the highland. H-O-P, that was a keyword. Moving in a series of jumps. Hop over Ethiopia. So you reached Ethiopia, and after reaching Ethiopia, you just asked X. You just asked the person, the blue person, please give me some clue regarding X. He said, I will give you a clue. Before that, please look down. So he asked you to look down using these words. Look over the edge. E-D-G-E. The words E and D stood for mnemonic. E for a country, Eritrea. E-R-I-T-R-E-A. And D for a country, Djibouti. D silent. E-J-I-B-O-U-T-I. And once he pushes you from Djibouti, you keep on falling and then we press the pause button. Fine. See, if you are following the story, just by the usage of mnemonics, you should be in a position to recollect these series of countries, even though those countries would not have been familiar. Okay. So
This will be the mode of the class. Fine. So we have finished a set of 10 countries. Now we'll go for description. So let me just share the whiteboard with you. There it is. See, as I told you, when I start the description part, you get an understanding. What are we really trying to attempt, and why is it essential before, how to connect with the others also. So first country we saw was this, isn't it? MALE, the 4 set of countries. So first country was M for Morocco. I just want to know this. I believe they would have started introduction for economics. Just tell me, because I don't want to go in detail. Just tell me, anyone through chat, do you know what is a primary, secondary, and tertiary sector? That's all. Whether it was taken up. Okay, fine. Thanks for the response. So people have responded. So you do know what is a primary, secondary, and tertiary sector. Just to recap, which means I can just finish it in one sentence. That's all. So it's very simple. Primary sector is something in which you derive your commodities or generate your commodities directly from nature. That's all. It can be agriculture, it can be mining, it can be fishing. Secondary sector is simple. Whatever materials you got from the primary sector, you add one more layer of processing. You process the materials. For example, fine, you take your, you take your mining, let's say there is iron ore. From iron ore, you process iron or steel, then it is your manufacturing sector. Coming to the last part, tertiary sector, the key word for tertiary sector is this: support. Tertiary sector supports both the primary sector and the secondary sector. Without the tertiary sector, both of them cannot function effectively. For example, banking, travel services, hotels, and the one which I'm doing right now, teaching. Okay, so all these come under tertiary services. Now, why are we trying to recollect? Because when I go through this part, I simply tell, in this country, this industry is very, very good. And this is the most important contributor for GDP. So when I use those words, I just want you to have a mental picture. That is the reason we started with that. So with this very short intro, we just start with Morocco. In Morocco, its largest percentage of GDP comes from tertiary sector. And within tertiary sector, we are talking about finance industry. Finance. Okay, so close to 3/4 of the GDP comes from finance. See, when you use the word finance, you're talking about banking, all those peripheral, insurance services, investment services, all those use the word. That all of them come under the word finance. Now, coming to the next set of countries, AL. If you remember, Algeria and Libya. Okay, these two countries are net exporters of oil. Now, this is something which frequently makes news. I'm very sure they would handle in newspaper reading, but we need to have one more level of technicality. See, in understanding oil is essential for both General Studies Paper 1 and General Studies Paper 3. Fine, we just go to that. So first, what do you mean by export? Export is simple. You have a territory of a country. If I sell the commodity outside the territory of a country, I call it as an export. This you have learned in economics. Very simple. Now we need to understand what exactly is oil. Fine. So if Algeria and Libya primarily relies on oil, we need to understand what exactly is oil. For that, I'm going to take you to chemistry. Fine. Now, please don't faint after I said the word chemistry. Okay, relax. I'm definitely not going to introduce technicality. We are trying to keep it as simple as possible. See, engineering students will be very, very familiar because these people learn physics, chemistry. They're very, very good in these parts because they have to learn that. It's not for engineering students. So for engineering students, it'll be very simple. It's primarily for people either from medical background or commerce background. They might be part of class, so they might have left the touch with reference to chemistry long back. Just to recollect it for you. Okay. See, 3 primary points. We just recollect this and then we'll understand what is oil. Point 1. What do you mean by this word hydrocarbon? See, very simple. Any molecule which is made of both hydrogen and carbon is called as hydrocarbon. That's all. So someone uses the word hydrocarbon in newspapers, please don't worry. It simply means the molecule has both hydrogens and carbons. That's it. Simple. Point 2.
See, I will write a formula. See, please don't worry. The formula is not necessary for UPSC. They're not going to ask that. Just relax. Just write it down. There are two things. Okay. I will take one balance, and on balance, I keep both of them. I place 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen. I place 2 carbon, 6 hydrogen. Fine. This point is, if I place two things on a balance, it is obvious that the right one will be heavier. That's all. Fine, because you have 2 carbon here, you will have only 1 carbon here. You have 6 hydrogen here, you have only 4 hydrogen here, which means second will be heavier. Now, if I'm going to add 3 carbon, 4 carbon, 5 carbon, it simply means when I increase the number of carbon atoms, automatically the hydrocarbon will become heavier. Simple, because 2 is heavier than 1, 3 is heavier than 2. That's all. That's the only thing you need to understand. So just remember this. When carbon atoms increase, it becomes heavy. That's all. When carbon atoms increase in hydrocarbons, the hydrocarbon becomes heavy. That is the only thing you need to remember. Number 2. Number 3. See, I use this word pentagon. Not United States pentagon, just pentagon. Geometry. Fine, you would automatically, sir, 5-sided figure. Okay. I use this word hexagon. Immediately, sir, hexagon, 6-sided figure. Octagon, 8-sided figure. It'll be very easy for you to say. See, pent and hex are words derived from Latin. Pent means 5, hex means 6. Similar to these words, meth, eth, prop, and but simply means 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's all. And all this 1, 2, 3, and 4 simply denotes to carbon atoms. I use the word meth for a hydrocarbon. It simply means it has 1 carbon atom. Prop means 3. Hex means 6. That's all. These are the only 3 points you need to know. You might be from commerce background, you might be from medical background, but these 3 simple things you're able to understand, that itself will be enough for appreciating what exactly is oil. Okay, so just repeat these 3 points. Any molecule made of hydrogen and carbon is called as a hydrocarbon. In a hydrocarbon, if I'm going to increase the carbon atoms, it becomes heavy. Okay, and point number 3 was this. 1, 2, 3, 4 simply starts for meth, eth, prop, and but. Okay. Now, with reference to this, we'll move to the section for what exactly is oil and what do they mean in newspapers. See, simple. I'm going to increase the number of carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 is a magical number. Now, why 5 is a magical number? Listen, any hydrocarbon with greater than 5 carbon atoms will exist in liquid state naturally. It simply means you can take any hydrocarbon. Okay, it can be 6 hydrocarbon, it can be 14 hydrocarbon, it can be 27 carbon hydrocarbon. It doesn't really matter. It can be 6, 14, 11, 12, 13. It doesn't really matter. The point is you exceed 5. The only point is this, people, greater than 5. Greater than 5, all these hydrocarbons will remain in liquid state. This entire liquid is called as oil. That's what people mention as crude oil in news. That's all. That is the only thing you need to know. Why should you know this? Just for understanding that when people mention oil, they are talking about many hydrocarbons. Oil has many hydrocarbons. It doesn't have one. All the hydrocarbons will be present in oil. Simple. So if it is greater than 5, it is liquid. So from 5 to 1, I think you would have guessed it correctly. All the first 5 hydrocarbons will remain as gases. Okay. So that is with reference to oil. Now, I would like to introduce 2 more terminologies, because you will have those terminologies with reference to your, energy and fuel discussions. I will discuss that and then I'll give you a 5 minutes break. Just hold on. 2 more terms. See, in the news, this term you will normally find, natural gas, natural gas, natural gas. India is trying to implement a natural gas project in Iran, natural gas exploitation. See, when people use the word natural gas, they are looking for these people. That's all. Single carbon hydrocarbon. Fine. That is what people refer to as natural gas. It is nothing but one, as I told you, methane. That's all. Fine. So just remember, when people use natural gas, 98 to 99% they refer to methane. Natural gas will only have very small portion of ethane. Is that clear? That is two carbon hydrocarbon. So if you know what is natural gas, now you can tell me what these are, isn't it? I write the word LNG. I write the word CNG. Liquefied natural gas, compressed natural gas. It is nothing but methane, that's all. If you liquefy it, it is called liquefied natural gas. You increase the pressure by 600 times, it becomes compressed natural gas. That's it. It's a very, very good fuel. And that's why people scramble for natural gas after oil. Now to introduce two more gases and one single terminology. Okay. 3 means prop. We saw. 4 means but. We saw. Simple. I told you they exist as gases. Okay. In a natural state. Now, for these gases, if I apply a light amount of pressure, they will become liquids. Sir, why are we studying this and how is it relevant? Well, it is relevant because you're cooking using that. That's why. Simple. See, you have liquefied, you applied pressure and liquefied petroleum gases. Okay, that is why we use the term LPG. And this LPG is what you find in your cylinders in your house. The red color cylinder which your cylinder man brings, or it can be the blue color cylinder which is used in all those industries. That is actually liquefied petroleum gas. Now, what is the relationship? See, inside the cylinder, it will be in liquid state. Is that clear? Now, when people cook, what they do is this: you'll have a knob, and in that knob, what you essentially do is, when you release the knob, you are essentially releasing pressure. And once you release pressure, automatically gases will go back to gaseous state. Okay, so from liquid state, you release the pressure, they return back to gaseous state. And once gaseous state is there, you use your lighter and then switch it on, you get fire. Fine, that is what we use in our houses. Now, you want even a better example, this is not understanding, cigarette lighter. Fine. What is there in cigarette lighter is nothing but butane. Cigarette lighter is very, very small. Inside the cigarette lighter, you'll get liquid butane. When you press the cigarette lighter, what you're essentially doing is when you press the button, you are releasing the pressure. So butane moves back to gaseous state. When it goes back to gaseous state, along with the pressure, there will be an electric spark also. Is that clear? So that spark ignites the gas, then you get fire, then smoking causes cancer, smoking kills. I'm just stopping there. So that ends the discussion for the first 5 parts. What is NG, what is LNG, what is CNG, and what exactly is oil. Okay, so that is the preliminary discussion we have actually had. Now, I still need to talk about Libya also, but I think we already crossed 1 hour and 10 minutes. So what we'll do right now is we'll have a short break, a 5-minute break alone. Okay, 300 seconds. Just take a short break. And once we come back, we'll continue with the description. Then we'll understand what is going on in Libya. Okay, 5 minutes break. I'll just return back in 300 seconds. So I think we are ready for starting again because we just crossed the 5-minute mark. So I'll just continue where we left off. So we were discussing about exports of, the chief export reference to the 2 countries, Algeria and Libya. Now we progress with the very, very short history of Libya, just to relate with current affairs. I believe that Govind sir would have already handled a certain section known as Arab Spring. Okay. So Arab Spring is something which you would have seen in your bilateral class. I'll just put it in a single statement and we'll understand what happened in Libya and what happened in many other countries also, just a single line. See, Arab Spring can be described as a series of movements in North Africa and Arabia for democratic form of government. That's all. Now, why did it happen only in North Africa and Arabia, if you ask me? Because there you mostly had a type of government called as autocratic regimes, autocracy. See, cracy means to rule. You know this already. Auto means self. So they just wanted to move from autocracy to democracy. Demos means people. So democracy. So a single person government to people form of government. See, understand, like, this is usually not given in textbooks. The point is this. Whenever you make the transition from autocratic regimes to democratic regimes, you go through three different phases. Okay. Phase one is this. You will have an autocrat. So this autocrat will need to step down from power either by his own will or there is a coup when he's forcibly removed from power. Stage two. Correct. I'm coming to that. Stage two. Under stage two, there is a vacancy in power. So here there is removal. Stage one. Stage two, there is a vacancy in power. And for this vacancy, there is a caretaker government. And this caretaker government might hover around for 6 months to 1 year. And in this time period, what they try to do is just to make sure there is a peaceful transition of power. The caretaker government's important responsibility is to conduct elections, because only if elections are conducted, you can elect the next president or prime minister. Is that clear? So stage three is this. In stage three, elections are conducted, and elections are conducted peacefully. Once peaceful elections are done, the new prime minister from among the people will be selected, or new president from among the people is selected, and the transition is over. I'll tell you the biggest problem with reference to Arab Spring. Okay. Most of the countries really did not undergo all these three transitions. Most countries really undergone the first transition, forcible removal of power. Okay. But most of them get the problems when it comes to second power. The caretaker government, which usually takes up power, either does not conduct elections or they enter into civil war themselves. This is what happened with reference to Libya. One person has sent in text also that you learn this in bilateral, Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi was the autocrat in Libya. Okay. And Gaddafi was overthrown. He was removed. Fine. But problem is, after Muammar Gaddafi was removed, the second phase was not really peaceful at all. Instead of one caretaker government, you had two governments. Then the two governments began to fight among each other. Currently, you saw a map, isn't it, in which you had a demarcation, which is noted down as Libya. Kindly note that what is given on your map as Libya is something which really doesn't exist today. Libya is broken down into two different parts. So currently you have two governments in Libya, and you have at least 6 terrorist organizations who have their affiliations either through Al-Qaeda or ISIS operating. So this is a broken country. So this is the reason why Libya is not in a position to participate in any international conferences, because once you have two governments, you really don't have proper representative. And I link Libya to one more country, which we'll see in the forthcoming discussion. Okay. With this done, we'll go to Egypt. Okay. Coming to the part on Egypt. Egypt's large section of GDP comes from, again, services sector. Fine. Even though Egypt is not a big power right now, when it comes to the North African and the West Asian region, Egypt is a regional power. Now, whenever we discuss about Egypt, we should talk about this city, El Giza. Why is El Giza known for? Well, the Great Pyramids. See, now we need to understand why we should know the locations of certain places like these. See, not just interest in archaeology or history, but just to know how people, compare these things. These pyramids were constructed approximately, 2500 BC, which is close to 4,500 years from today. See, and in spite of the fact that the structures are old, 4,500 years old structures, the structures continue to stand. Fine. So, like, why should you know something like, know about such structures like this? Why are we concerned about the Great Pyramid? Why are we concerned about the Mayan civilization? Why are we concerned about the Great Bath of Indus Valley civilization or the terracotta warriors whom we find in the Chinese civilization or Mesopotamian civilization? The thing is, an empire can construct a huge monument of that scale only if you have enough resources. I'll give you a simple example. Let's take Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal was the biggest Mughal marble which was constructed in medieval India. The construction went on for more than 20 years, and Shah Jahan was able to construct Taj Mahal because he was the emperor of India. He had access to resources. So, if you're an ancient empire and are going to construct something so big as the pyramid, you need a large amount of money. It's all about money, which means you need to have large amount of taxes. And you'll be able to tax a lot of people only when the empire expands over a period of time. Archaeologists and historians use this as important points of reference. Over a particular point of time, let's say 2500 BC, you have a monument dated to that time. It simply means at that time, Egyptian empire was the most powerful in the world. And it was true. Back then they were the masters of the entire Mediterranean Sea, and their sheer competitors were on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea, the Roman Empire, which we'll see when we go to Europe. Fine. And just to finish the point on Great Pyramids, why were they constructed? Well, pyramids were nothing but tombstones. I think I understand what is a tombstone. It's, technically you can call it as a mausoleum, or that's where a dead person is supposed to be buried. So you bury the dead. But in this case, you technically don't bury them. Now, why you don't bury them? Because Egyptians believed in the concept of afterlife. It is part of their religion. So they believed that there is life after death. So once their king or queen passed away, who were called as pharaohs, the kings and queens. So what they did is they wanted to make sure all the essentials which they felt, isn't it? All the essentials which they felt is required for the king or queen in afterlife, all of them were collected, and along with the dead body of the king or queen, all the elements were placed inside the pyramid and locked. Okay. And when the dead body is actually buried, or not buried technically, placed inside the pyramid, they make sure that all the organs, all the decaying organs are removed from the human body. Okay. And once they do that, they completely cover it. Fine. This is what we call as mummies, and this process is mummification. Okay. I think mummies, you're very familiar. Fine. This is a very big reference in pop culture right now. You have films made on them, you had games made on them, and you had jokes made on them, memes made on them. Actually, mummification procedure was not really analyzed until recently, because Egyptians never really opened the pyramids, because for them, pyramids were really sacred. If Egyptians did not open the pyramids, who opened? I think you would have guessed it correctly. It is these people. Egypt came under the control of Britain in the 1880s. And once they got Egypt under their control, then they started exploring the pyramids. After that, their mummies were brought out. So in India, you have a mummy in Kolkata Museum. So I don't know whether anyone is participating from Kolkata, but it was in news, I think, last year, and that the mummies, it needs to be preserved properly, that there are possibilities that it might get disrupted. So that is the reference point with reference to Egypt. Now moving ahead, one simple line, this river, longest, okay, there is one person in Kolkata, online student. I mean, Nile, longest river in the world. See, understand there is a difference. The largest is different, longest. Longest, you're talking about kilometers or miles. Fine. Even today, there is a discrepancy on where exactly you should measure the Nile. Fine. So for that, I'll just go back to the map again. Just keep the word longest. You'll just understand, know that word longest alone. We'll see with reference, where exactly are we talking about? Why is it a point of problem? See, hold on. Yeah, there it is. When I told you about Nile, I told with reference to Egypt, isn't it? Just understand, Nile River has its delta in Egypt. Please be careful. It ends into Mediterranean Sea. But Nile River does not originate in Egypt. It originates somewhere around here. There are two Niles. You have something called as White Nile and something called as Blue Nile. This is what we saw with reference to mnemonics. You know, blue person is there, white person is there, blue person takes you to highland. So you have Blue Nile originating deep from Lake Victoria North, and you have White Nile originating from Lake Victoria, and Blue Nile we have originating from highlands, and both of them join together and then they move. Fine. I think now we understand why I introduced this place also. Khartoum we saw, isn't it? So both White Nile and Blue Nile merge in Khartoum. They merge here. And that is the reason we just had the reference of Khartoum district. And why did we use this place Aswan? Because in Aswan we have a huge dam which blocks the flow of Nile River. Egyptians have done that so they can have better agriculture. This White Nile origin is Lake Victoria. We'll see Lake Victoria. Hold on. I just wanted to introduce this part since we have already taken White Nile and Blue Nile. You will see Victoria later. Blue Nile starts in Ethiopian highlands. That's what we saw as highland, Ethiopian highlands. White Nile, we will see Lake Victoria later. So two different rivers, they join together in Khartoum. After joining in Khartoum, there is a huge dam, Aswan Dam. Why is the dam constructed? They constructed for agriculture purposes, large volume of water. So for Egypt's agriculture, they did. And the final delta is in the Mediterranean Sea, ends in Mediterranean. Okay, so that is what you need to remember. Fine. Yeah, Lake Tana, that's what it is. Lake Tana is technically in Ethiopia. Fine. Hold on. So I think I've just given enough time. White Nile, Blue Nile from Ethiopia. They merge together in Khartoum. After merging in Khartoum, we have Aswan Dam. After Aswan Dam, Delta in Egypt. Fine. See, again, I'll take this reference and just give it to you. You search on the internet, different websites will give you different countries. It'll say the Nile passed through 9 countries, Nile passed through 11 countries, Nile passed through 10 countries. Just keep the word 10 alone. Fine. There is discrepancy because you really cannot map where exactly. If one single tributary of a river is in a different place, then one extra country will be included. That is the reason you have discrepancy on 9 or 11 or 10. Just know that it's the longest in the world. Fine, the number of countries doesn't matter. You won't have questions based on that. So need not worry about this at all. Okay. Just remember, Blue Nile starts in Ethiopia. That'll be fine. White Nile, I will take it up again. Just Blue Nile, Ethiopia. Remember that. Because I got repetitive questions on that. Fine. So now we will move ahead. Blue Nile, White Nile, Khartoum, Aswan Dam, and Egypt. That was the order. Now, if you remember, we need to look at one more country. When you looked at this journey, you moved in a place known as Tunisia, isn't it? Tune in Tunisia. Tunisia is known for textile industry. Textiles. So it's a manufacturer. Yeah, Lake Nasser comes from Aswan Dam. This is a private question, just addressing that. Tunisia, major industries, textiles. Just note down the word textiles. And now I need to introduce something very important. And for that, I'll need to wait till Djibouti. But even then, I'll just introduce this to you, this concept. See, in bilateral relations, you would have talked about West Asia in detail. I want you to talk about one more place right here. And for understanding that, we need to go back to modern Indian history. What the British did, they created problems, of course. They always create problems. The British, that's what they usually do. That's their job. But to understand a huge engineering project, we need to go back to British and look at something from the British perspective. For that, we need the world map. Here it is. See, you need not worry about what was taught in modern Indian history. You just know this alone. India is here. Britain is here. Okay, they're separated by so many seas. That is the issue. See, India was a colony of the British. So since it was a colony, the objective of the British was to exploit India. So think from British perspective, look at the map and follow up. Let's say you want to take resources from India and then bring it to Britain. You will start from Britain, Portugal, Northwest Africa, West Africa, South Africa, East Africa, Arab Peninsula, then you'll go to India. After moving to India, again you'll come back, Arab Peninsula, East Africa, South Africa, West Africa, Northwest Africa, Portugal, England. You see what the problem is? The problem of distance. See, think from the economic perspective. Fine. If you really want to make a large amount of profit, you will need to make sure that your transport is effective. You can't spend large amount of time. Fine. The more and more time you spend, the more fuel you're going to spend. The more fuel you spend, it's going to be very, very costly for travel. So this was the problem which British encountered. They saw India, Britain, India, Britain, India, Britain was very boring for them. So they need an effective method. Okay. They decided this is not going to work out. Fine. So they thought we need to find a simpler method. Okay. So Britain is here. India is here. They looked at Egypt. Fine. And in Egypt, I will zoom in on one more map, just understand the concept right now. In this area, they constructed the biggest engineering project of the modern world. People, it was constructed in the year 1869 itself. Suez Canal. You're right. Suez Canal. So why do they construct Suez Canal? Simple. Once they construct the Suez Canal, I can start from Egypt. Sorry, I can start from Britain, come through Mediterranean Sea, get through Egypt, cross Red Sea, and then come to India. That's all. Okay, you take this older part is very, very damaging. You need to travel so long. It's very ineffective. Okay, but the black line which you see right here is very, very effective. That is the reason they constructed the Suez Canal. So in one single line, you asked why they constructed Suez Canal. They simply wanted to reduce distance for maximizing profit. Okay, they just wanted to connect Europe with Asia. That is the reason they constructed. Simple enough? Fine. Now I'm going to ask you a simple question. I think most of you know the answer, but still. See, I told you the project is 1869 construction, which means, so to get an idea of 1869, I'll tell you this. 1869 was the year Mahatma Gandhi was born. Okay. So the project is very, very old right now. You tell me, 1869 projects, anyone through text, is this canal operating today? That's all. Such an old project, is it operating today? Multiple responses, and all the responses say yes. Of course, it is operating today. People understand Suez Canal, even though it is an old project, it was expanded into multiple canals later. Currently, it's the most important sea route in the world because all the trade which goes on between your Asia and Europe has to pass through Suez Canal. So Suez Canal is a very, very big or important sea route. That is the only thing you need to understand for now. Okay, once you understand the important sea route concept, then for the subsequent country, you'll be able to relate to the information. So with that in mind, and with Tunisia done, we'll go to Sudan and South Sudan and see what happens. Okay, I'll just go on to the Africa map now. Hold on, let me share the photo. Just a second. Yes, we were here, right there. So Sudan and South Sudan. See, just remember this alone with reference to Sudan, what has happened. Suez Canal was constructed in 1869. You wrote the number, isn't it? 69, very old one. Now coming to Sudan and South Sudan, I'll relate both of them. See, Sudan was under an autocrat, okay, who goes by the name. Man, wait for Europe. Europe is one full class. Huh? Patience. Autocrat who went by the name of Omar al-Bashir. The point is, Omar al-Bashir has stepped down. That's all you need to remember. So as I told you with reference to Arab Spring, Arab Spring and the movement towards democracy, phase 1 is complete. The autocrat has stepped down. Fine. Phase 2 is still in operation. Proper elections need to be conducted. But phase 2 is not over in Sudan. That is why it is now and then in current affairs. Is that clear? Now, some information on South Sudan. So for Sudan, just remember this. Omar al-Bashir was the autocrat. He has stepped down. It is in phase 2 of transition. That would do. So to talk about South Sudan, few lines, and then I'll go back to the next country, just because it's not a important major player. South Sudan became independent only in the year 2011 actually. Until then it was part of Sudan. They fought for independence long and then they got independence. The point is, current affairs parts, South Sudan is in civil war. Clarity here. I think you would have seen this movie, Captain America, Civil War. You know, Avengers. Yeah. Civil war. So what does civil war mean? Know this. Whenever you use this word war, for example, you use the word war, India's war. India's war with is in war with China, which was a likely possibility 2 weeks back. Or India is in war with Pakistan, a war which we will always win. Fine. When you talk about these wars, you talk about wars between countries. Okay. When you talk about war between countries, when you talk about the word civil war, you're talking about within the country itself. You don't have a proper government. For example, Libya is in civil war. Fine. So similar to that, South Sudan is in civil war. It is the reason I'm specifically mentioning this is in the last 10 years, if you take as part of current affairs, a very important civil war conflict which is raging. It is leading to intense problems of malnourishment, food security. You know, people are getting affected. You don't have agriculture, you don't have government. So that's the biggest problem in South Sudan right now. That's why I wanted you to know. Fine. Just notice, got independent in 2011. Bloody civil war going on for the last 10 years. The conflict is still not resolved. Okay. Now, moving to this country where we hopped over. Hold on, let me go to the whiteboard and then come back to this again. Simple. Just a second. There it is. Now, talking about Ethiopia. Ethiopia's major export in terms of agriculture is coffee, people. As the world's renowned coffee, a very important brand, a very important export. And this is your primary sector export. When it comes to your tertiary sector, Ethiopia is known for its transport. You'll automatically ask me, sir, how can transport be an important sector? Well, they have one of the best airlines in Africa itself. When I say airlines in Africa, it's not just about providing services for African countries itself, not just Africa, but they also provide services outside Africa, one of the best in the world. So it's an important generator of GDP, and so does coffee. Okay. So after Ethiopia, if you remember the mnemonics, we would have talked about this. Edge. E for Eritrea and D for Djibouti. Fine. Eritrea is not very significant in terms of international relations, but this small country is important. Okay. Djibouti, very important. Okay, why it's important? Because of its strategic location. Exactly. Someone has texted right now. Strategic location. Just use this word strategic location. We'll see what happened. Note down this word alone. I'll go back to the map and then you will understand, okay, what exactly is happening. Right. Now I'm going to go to the map again. Hold on. Just swap the photo. Right there. There it is. See, Djibouti is here. See, Chinese presence is the recent news. I just want to connect how it becomes a military base. See, you have your Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, and then your Gulf of Aden. Okay. And if you're going to go for sea transport, this is the area where you pass through Suez Canal. And after passing through Suez Canal, you need to go to this corridor. See, look where Djibouti is located. You call it as plum location. Whenever a batsman gets out by LBW, you say it's plum. That's kind of a plum location. And the reason why Djibouti is usually chosen is because of economics also. See, think about this. Assume that I am a president of the United States. I'm not saying I want to be Donald Trump. Or assume that I want to be Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Again, I'm not saying I want to be Boris Johnson. The point is very simple. Assume that I'm a powerful person. Okay. See, let's say you're UK Prime Minister. Fine. All your ships will need to cross this very, very narrow area. Is that clear? And they want safety. Djibouti is a very small country. UK is a very, very big country. So United Kingdom started this process. Okay. They stated, see, we want safety for our ships. And if you're talking about safety, we want to make sure we will give you money, euros, no problem, or we'll give you dollars, no problem. Allow us to have a very, very small military presence, having a military base, very small military base. Okay, so that we can guide our ships and we can look for the safety of our ships without any problem. And that's the problem. You know, Djibouti was a French colony. It was under the control of France. And after independence, France automatically had a military base. Then United Kingdom started exacting a military base. Then USA. Today, USA has the largest military base in Djibouti. Okay, why do people go to Djibouti? Why can't they go for a country like Eritrea? Why can't they go for Yemen? Why can't they go for Sudan? So on and so forth. The reason is simple. Of all the surrounding countries, Djibouti is politically stable. You don't have civil war conflicts, so on and so forth. That is the reason. It is a very, very calm place. And as most people have sent me in the text, the reason why it has come in news is because China, our dear neighbor, is constructing the existing port, the largest port ever, expanding the port in Djibouti. The name of the port, as most of you would know, is Dorela, D-O-R-E-L-A-H. I'll repeat again. Why do people go for setting up military bases? Because Djibouti is politically stable compared to the surrounding countries. And point two, all the other countries like UK, USA, and France are very big countries, and they can give money to Djibouti to make sure that they can have their military bases here. See, when I talk about setting up military bases, you're not talking about ceding a part of land. It's just getting permission, maybe 100 or 150 acres, so that you want to have your troops stationed. The troops will not be thousands of people, may only be in hundreds, just for safety perspective. The reason it has made news is because of China. The Dorela port, D-O-R-E-L-A-H, the biggest port being constructed in Djibouti as part of BRI project. Okay, so that ends the discussion for Dorela port. I'll give you exactly 1 minute. We're not breaking right now. I just want to continue with the story. Maybe at the end of the story, we can break. No problem. Just take a minute. Just go through the description part alone, because we are going to return to our storyline again. So if you're ready, just a minute. Just flip through your pages, what you've written so far. We are getting back. You're becoming Tom Cruise again. Okay. Just a minute, few seconds. Because we were in Djibouti, you know, so we need to understand what happens after that. I think that's enough time. Fine, so there we were. And now we continue with the story again. I think you remember where you were in the story. You were falling from 1,000 feet or 1,000 meters. Okay, from the top. So you're falling down. He pushed you. Okay, you're falling down. You're falling to a desert, people. You're falling inside a desert. Don't worry. Nothing is going to happen to you. Nothing happens. You just fell down. That's all. You're a hero. Nothing is going to happen. If you die, then we can't study map reading. So picture this. You fall down in the desert. You're completely covered by sand. You just push that sand away. Just picture the screenplay. Camera straight. You see an old man. There is an old man. Camera panning left. Here you see a camel. You know camel? Camel is there. Old man is there. You have a camel. Okay. Now screenplay is very essential. Old man comes to you. Old man gives you a jug. Jug means thing for holding water. Gives you jug. So you look the word jug. 3 seconds screenplay. Cut. Next cut camel. 3 seconds. Camel. Cut. Jug. Jug. Camel. Jug. Camel. Jug. Camel. Jug. Camel. Jug. Camel. So we do that for 5 to 15 seconds. You know. So once he does that, old man says something. So, mal. You tell me, what does so mal mean? Text me now. What does so mal mean? So mal. Everyone is responding Somalia. I'm going to kill you right now. See, Somalia is the keyword. I understand that. Okay, at least for that, I'll appreciate you. Somal in Somalia. You see Somalia right there. Yes, you're right. Somal in Somalia. Somal. Okay, after falling inside the desert, after falling into the desert, old man comes to you, he gives you a jug and says Somal. Somal means, it means go, go, milk. Is that clear? In their language, that is the name of the country itself. Somal, go milk. Camels are very dear to Somalians. They have so many words for camels, and it was a very peaceful country. Only recently have problems. So, now going back to story again, I think people from Tamil Nadu would know. See, whenever an animal is there, camel is there, camel, okay, camel, camel. Assume this is camel. Okay. So first, if one person goes, sits under camel and uses jug, if new person goes to an animal and goes for jug, usually problem will come, because if a new person comes, the animal will not give milk. That is very usual. So in Tamil Nadu, there is one technique. People know, non-Tamil speakers just know this technique. The technique is this: we can sing song. So based on this concept, there is a big hit film also, actually. I forgot the name of the film, but we'll talk about that later. If you sing the song, whatever animal, whatever cow is there, camel is there, goat is there, anything is there, it will actually simply give milk. Fine. But this is our story. Okay. So we don't want to talk about any Tamil song or so on and so forth. We'll just use our magical instrument. If you guessed it right, yes, our magical instrument is mouth organ. Okay. So once you use our mouth organ, the camel gives you large amount of milk. Camel is kind of mesmerized by the mouth organ music which you have put. So you take the jug is there, jug is completely filled with milk. So after collecting milk, you go to the old man and tell the old man, sir, you wanted milk, I gave you milk. The old man is extremely happy. You know what? Since he's very happy, the old man says this: my camel has not given so much of milk in its entire lifetime. And since you have got me milk, I have a present for you. Old man gives you chicken. Chicken. Okay, so picture that. And you tell me whether you find that chicken country. If you guessed it, you're right. There it is. Chicken in Kenya. South of that, chicken in Kenya. Okay. See, and please remember, don't imagine grilled chicken, barbecue. Please don't do that. No, don't do that, because this is very normal. If you imagine this, you'll automatically forget. Imagine a chicken with live feathers, all completely live with feathers also. Eat it like that, so that you imagine. It'll be very difficult, but imagination, anything can happen. So chicken in Kenya. I'll just flip over to a better map so that you get it. Just remember the keyword alone. Chicken in Kenya. Now, moving to the southern section, if you're ready, just flip over the map. You'll find the same countries. Chicken in Kenya. Just hold on. Yep. So we were in Kenya. So after eating chicken, old man gives you this also. Fine, pa. You finish chicken. Good. After chicken, please drink brew coffee. He says, please drink brew coffee. BRU coffee. Okay, so you are talking about a huge mug, a big mug, equal to your size. Standing here, entire mug you're going to drink right now. Okay. Now look at the map carefully. You'll find those countries. All three are small countries. Okay. Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda. Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda. Fine. So eat chicken, drink brew coffee. Simple. Okay, note it down. Small countries. Very simple. Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda. Okay. I think big mug, very big coffee also, so no problem. Now you are re-energized. You're ready for the mission. My Angelina Jolie and Tom Cruise. Now you go on to the mission, you ask the old man, sir, please, give me some clue regarding X. Old man says, Tambi means small boy. Small boy, I really don't know any clue regarding X. But I can tell you, nearby there is a bar. Walk into the bar, there is one person, and that person will help you to find clue regarding X. So you walk into the bar. Okay, so imagine, dark, it's dark, but you have that color lights. And there, the person whom you need to contact for getting information regarding X. So you can have any gender you want. Men can imagine Victoria. women can imagine Victor, or any choice it is, male or female, whichever your gender preference you can imagine. Fine. So why are we using this word Victoria or Victor? Because if you look carefully, right there, here, right here, you'll find a place, Lake Victoria. This thing is there, isn't it? This water body. This is called Lake Victoria. It's a lake, very important lake here. Lake Victoria. That's all. Victoria in Victoria, or Victor in Victoria. That is the mnemonic part. Is it clear? Victor and Victoria, Victoria and Victoria. So you go and ask Victoria, Victoria, help me out. Please, I need to find X. Victoria looks at you, or Victor looks at you and says, see, I will give clue regarding X under one simple condition. Okay, the condition is this. Dance with me. You dance with me, we'll dance for some time. If I like the dance, then we will proceed over. That is the keyword. Keyword coming up. Dance in Tanzania. Repeat again. Dance in Tanzania. So this is the first song sequence in our film, which we are directing right now. So, but no lyrics here, just the music. So DJ music, disco music. So, have your group dancers, imagine group dancers, hold the person, just start dancing 2 to 3 minutes. And you are enjoying, Victor or Victoria is enjoying. It's very, very good. Okay. And proceeding on with the story again. After dancing, which both of you enjoyed, now we are asking Victor or Victoria. Okay, you're asking, what, I think you enjoy the dance yourself. So shall we have this, give me clue regarding X? And Victoria says, see, the person X whom you're searching, isn't it? This person X whom you're searching is very dangerous. I'm telling you, please be careful. Nearby, there is a mall, a very long mall. Okay, this is the next keyword, mall in Malawi. Look carefully. This country right here, mall in Malawi, Malawi. It is very difficult for anyone to cross this mall and then take over. It's your own wish. If you enter the mall and come out of the mall alive, then you will be in a position to find X. Fine. You tell her, taking risk is eating rusk for me. Okay, so you're just saying, okay, I'll take this up, no problem. So you walk inside the mall, keep walking, keep walking, keep walking, keep walking, keep walking till the end. Till the end, there is actually no problem at all. But at the end, there is a small twist. There is a problem. There are 3 zombies. Those who are listening, if possible, will tell me what the 3 zombie countries are? Very close by. 3 zombies. 3 zombies. Let's look into the map. Yeah, good. People are guessing it correctly. Right. I think most of you have got it. Look carefully, you'll find 3 zombies. Zambia, Zambia. Country number 2, Zimbabwe.
Gauthamam Chandru.
Sir?
Actually, an announcement.
Just people just hold on. I just need to make an announcement. Chandru sir is online.
Yes.
Just hold on. Chandru sir is online. You'd like to make an announcement?
Yes. See, actually, many times we requested students to join with their unique ID. So many students have joined with their name only. So those who joined with their name, definitely remove from today. They cannot join. Okay, so they have to come with their unique ID only, strictly from today. Okay, Gautam, you continue, please.
Okay, sir. So that's an admin instruction. So I'll just repeat again. If anyone has joined using their names, I'll just give 1 minute. I'll continue after this. Please rejoin using your unique ID, and then I'll continue, because for just disconnecting and then coming up, it might take a minute. So just take a minute. Use your unique ID and join. It's an admin instruction. So I'll give you time for that. Then we'll proceed with the story. Okay, I'll just give you a minute. So those who are participating, you can just note it down. Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, 3 countries. Those who have already taken this part. Okay. Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. Okay, 3 simple countries. Now, if you have renamed, there is no problem. If you have renamed, there is no problem. Okay. Keyword for Somalia is Somal. There is a request. Somal. Somal means go milk. Okay. Okay. Now, lot of them are rejoining with numbers again. I'll just take a few more seconds. Okay. Thank you for the response. Keyword for Victoria is Victoria itself, man. Lady Victoria, you just danced with her, forgot? Or Victor, you danced with him, whomsoever you like. So I think we'll just continue with that. Okay. So 3 different Zambies. See, the problem with Zambies is this. I'll just follow it up from Victoria. You use the word dance with me. And after that, Victoria said, nearby there is a big mall. Once you cross the mall alive, you'll be able to survive and find X. So mall in Malawi. You entered the mall. At the end of the mall, you found 3 Zambies. So Zambies, I think you know. Okay. So Zambies include Zambia, Zimbabwe, and then Mozambique. Is it fine? Okay. So Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. Those are the 3 countries which we discussed right now. And remember, there is a problem with Zambies. The problem is this. If the person whom you're trying to fight is a live person, then it is very much possible that you'll be able to fight and possibly kill the person and then move ahead. But the problem is you're talking about Zambies. Zambies are already dead. If Zambies are already dead, there is no point in fighting them. So now you need to find a way, isn't it? You look left, you look right. There is a door by the right side. You break open the door. You know all the directions. You look. Finally, there is a door. You break open the door. Once you open the door, complete open space. This is a desert. Fine. And on the desert, there is a boat. Okay. Boat. B-O-A-T. Fine. Now, boat is the keyword. Look carefully. Follow the keyword. Boat in Botswana. Boat in Botswana. I'll repeat again. Those who just joined last time. You cannot kill Zambies because Zambies are already dead. Okay. You want to escape. Nearby, there is an opening. You open and break open the door. After breaking open the door, you see a desert. And in the desert, you find a boat. Botswana. That is a country. B-O-T-S-W-A-N-A. Botswana. That's the country. Okay. Now you already know, isn't it? Boat will go if there is water. Boat can't ride in sand. But remember, this is our story. Anything can happen. So remember our important instrument, our most important instrument is magic mouth organ. So take your mouth organ and after taking your mouth organ, start playing tune. Once you start playing tune, boat automatically goes. Then finally, look at the next country. Very simple. Okay. You reach the south of Africa, which is nothing but South Africa. Okay. So mouth organ means you can ride the boat even in a desert. You reach the south of Africa. South Africa. Is that clear? So that ends the second part of the story. Okay, which took you from Eastern Africa to Southern Africa. I'll give you a minute. You're going to revise the mnemonics again. Okay. Just take a minute. Look at the keywords again. We'll get the reference points. So I'll give you 15 seconds. Is it fine? 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now it's simple, just follow. So you just fell down. Remember, you fell down from the highland, you fell inside a desert. Is that clear? So from highland, you fell inside a desert. Now in the desert right now, there was an old man. Remember, old man came to you. After coming to you, the old man gave you a jug. There was a camel which was nearby.
The old man used the word Somal, isn't it? Somal in Somalia. That was the keyword. You went to the camel, you used your mouth organ, he collected a lot of milk. After collecting milk, you gave it to the old man. The old man was very happy that he got a milk. To praise you, he gave you chicken. Chicken was a keyword. Live chicken, you ate it. Chicken in Kenya, Kenya. After eating your live chicken, you had a huge mug, huge mug where there was brew coffee, BRU. And each and every letter stood for a particular country. B for Burundi, R for Rwanda, 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 and U for Uganda. After drinking the brew coffee, you threw the cup away. You asked the old man for help regarding X. Old man said, I don't know any information. Walk into the bar. You moved inside the bar. There was disco lights and you found the person. Victoria or Victor. I told you gender preference is yours. Fine. So you went to Victoria. Victoria is a keyword for Lake Victoria. There is a very important lake right there. Fine. Victoria said, I will give you information regarding X provided you dance with me. Dance was the next keyword. Dance in the country Tanzania. So the first song sequence, you danced really well. Then Victoria gave you this instruction. See, finding X is very difficult. Nearby, there is a long mall, M-A-L-L, long mall. Mall was a keyword. Mall in Malawi, M-A-L-A-W-I. That was the name of the country. You enter the mall. If you make out of the mall alive, maybe you will find X. Okay. So you entered the mall, you kept on walking. At the end of the mall, you found the 3 zombies or Zambies. We use the word Z-A-M here. And 3 Zambies stand for 3 simple countries. Zambia, Zimbabwe, and then Mozambique. Is it clear? And after crossing, the 3 Zambies, you really do not know what to do because you cannot kill Zambies because the Zambies are already dead. So you looked on all the sides. There was a door at the end of the mall on the right side. You break the door. Once you open the door, there was a vast expanse of desert. Fine. And in that desert, you had a boat. Fine. And boat is the keyword. Boat is the keyword for Botswana. Is that clear? So you jumped inside the boat. And remember, once you get inside the boat, there is not really much of a point, isn't it? Because boats go only in water, not on sand. But our boat can go anywhere. Use a magic mouth organ. And once you use your magic mouth organ, then automatically the boat begins to move. So from Botswana, you reach the south of Africa, South Africa. So that's the discussion for the second part. If followed properly, without much of an effort, now you'd know at least 20 countries in Africa with their exact location where it is found. So if you're ready, okay, we will move ahead with one. Now there is a question, Lake Victoria belongs to which country? Lake Victoria is shared between 3 countries. We'll just see in the map, no worries. It's shared by 3 countries, not one single country. Okay. Just hold on. Let me just share the picture. Yeah, there it is. I think this is where we stopped. There was one question on third stage of democracy also. See, the third stage is simple. So stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 we saw. Third or final stage is when elections are conducted peacefully. And finally, you have an elected prime minister or president from among the people. It should be from the people themselves, not appointed. Second stage is appointed caretaker. This is elected caretaker. Okay, this is final stage, last part. Fine. So we need to discuss regarding this country, Somalia. Then we'll move in this direction. Is that clear? So now moving to the whiteboard part. I'll just take the map out. We'll need to come back to Somalia and the others later. Let me use the whiteboard, and for again specific locations, I'll come back. I need to deal the map again. So first is this. When I told you about Djibouti, I told this concept again and again. Djibouti. I would have mentioned many times on the concept of safety, isn't it? But I never told safety from whom. Well, it's from Somalian pirates. I have a recommendation for you, film recommendation. If time permits, if you're not left, please watch this film, Captain Phillips. Not Captain America. That is a US Masala movie. Please watch Captain Phillips. You'll get an idea of the issue of piracy which you find in these waters. See, to understand the concept of Somalian piracy, I just want to address this issue. See, whenever people talk about Somalia, people have this very wrong impression.
that all the Somalians are pirates, they do all this criminal activities, terror activities. Let's get to the root of the problem. See, not just for Somalia, anything which you see in social media, anything where any information you get, not just in social media, anything you read somewhere, always go to the root cause of the problem. Once you address the root cause of the problem, then you'll be in a position to address what exactly it is. Okay, so you take Somalia for example. When I talked about South Sudan, I told you South Sudan is in civil war for 10 years. See, Somalia is in civil war since 1991. It is 2020 right now. So Somalia is technically in civil war for close to 30 years. See, picture this. If your country is in civil war, there is more than one government, which means you have 2 to 3 governments controlling the country, and all the governments are fighting against each other, which means there will not be any proper services. Okay, you'll not have proper food, you'll not have proper water, you won't have proper electricity. Once country is in civil war, you cannot do agriculture properly. There will be problems of food security also. When you have all these issues, and think about this, people are hungry, people are poor, goes on for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, what do you think is going to happen? In the absence of government, if the government is not providing any services, and if inequality and poverty begins to rise, people will naturally be driven towards crime. Okay, that is so. Again, not all Somalians are pirates. A very small section, a very, very small percentage of Somalians took up the concept of piracy. And once few succeed, other people will begin to follow. But even today, larger section of Somalians are people like us, living our normal lives. A small percentage is involved in sea piracy. And that is where people are concerned with reference to safety in the international waters. So just remember one point alone. Somalia is in civil war for close to 30 years. In civil war or during civil war, there is absence of government. Whenever there is absence of government, there is no services. See, think about this. Even with the government, at times service won't be there. So absence of government, no services, that leads to crime and then piracy. That is the link you need to remember. Okay, it's a result of Cold War history. Somalia was badly impacted. Fine. So with that, I'll move to the next country. If you remember, after Somalia, we talked about a country called as Kenya, isn't it? Kenya. Kenya's major export and plantation is tea plantations. In Ethiopia, we saw coffee. In Kenya, it is tea. Is that clear? Tea plantations. Okay. Just one word for Kenya, major exporter of tea plantations. Fine. Now, after Kenya, just hold on, you not write this. I introduced countries like Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda. Okay. And all these countries are not very important players in international relations. At least Rwanda, you might learn with reference to Rwandan genocide if Chandru sir takes class in international relations. Apart from that, they're not important players. So we can safely ignore these 3 countries. But next country is essential. And after that country, I'll go to the map and deal with the Lake Victoria question also. 2 questions have come. Okay. So next country, if you remember the storyline, after drinking brew, you had Lake Victoria. I'll address Lake Victoria with map. Then you had this country. Dance with me. Tanzania. Tanzania's major industry, people, is tourism. You ask me what tourism? Well, wildlife tourism. See, all your documentaries in Discovery Channel, National Geographic, Animal Planet, all will show lions, leopard, cheetah, and all those things. So these areas are known. Tanzania is known for very good national parks, along with Kenya-Tanzania border. It's a very important place for wildlife tourism. So people, all the photographers, directors, movie makers, all of them go to this country for shooting. And that is the reason this industry performs really well. Is that clear? So wildlife tourism is a very famous place along with Kenya. Okay, so now to move ahead with the map, we'll look at 2 important cities which you will need to note. These are important ports for international relations. There it is. 2 places in the map. These places, one place is this, Dar es Salaam. You'll find it in Tanzania. You know the place down, Dar es Salaam. Okay. And one more place, Mombasa. Mombasa is in Kenya and Dar es Salaam is in Tanzania. These two are important ports. Fine, they are important for communication in the Eastern Indian Ocean. You can see like in this entire area, because Somalia, Mogadishu is not an important port. It always has conflicts. But these two places are important for trade. Mombasa in Kenya, Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, major ports. You should note that. Fine, there were two more questions on Lake Victoria. See, if you look at Lake Victoria, there was a question, who owns Lake Victoria? Lake Victoria is shared by three countries, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. You can see that those are the only three countries. Look at the colors. Green is there. I don't know what is this. It's pinkish red, or I don't know, pinkish red, and then yellow or orange. Fine, yellow orange shade. So these three countries own. I'd rather not use the word own, but they share Lake Victoria. And second point you need to remember is water gets collected. Water gets collected in the lake during rainfall. Any lake, rainfall is a major source of water. So with that, we end the discussion on Tanzania. Now we move to Malawi. Okay. So I think I've addressed the questions on chat. 3 sea countries, 3. See, it's very simple. Just look at the map. You'll find 3. Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. These 3 countries share Lake Victoria. It's right there, covering this blue water body. Look at the colors. Green here, 1, 2, and 3. These 3 countries. Okay. And those were the questions which came up. Okay, and I told you, the lake collects water during rainfall. Now, proceeding further, okay, after the 3 countries, Malawi, if you remember, Malawi is known for tobacco plantations. I think I need not introduce tobacco. One important character for it, or important raw material for cigars. So you can just look at the port right from here, Dar es Salaam and Mombasa, 2 important ports. It's right there. You can just note down the spelling. Dar es Salaam, Bares Salam. See, Mombasa and Dar es Salaam are important for trade in the eastern part of Africa. See right there, you see Indian Ocean right there, isn't it? So you can travel to Asia through these ports. Mogadishu is in Somalia. This is a problematic place. You don't use this for travel. Okay, so this is problematic. These 2 places are safe. That's why I introduced Mombasa and Dar es Salaam. If you look at Eastern African trade, the entire coastal area, these 2 ports will be very important ports. That's why. If you want to look for better ports, you need to travel as far as South Africa. So on the eastern coast, this is what it is. Is it clear? Right. So now moving on. No, they don't come under BRI. Mombasa and Dar es Salaam are older ports. See, just remember this. China might have money and can invest in 100-odd countries. It's not that every country China will be investing. Is it clear? Fine, now moving on. No country has enough money to invest in all the countries. Fine, so Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. So we just need to describe 5 countries. And once we're done with that, then we just see whether we can close the session. Okay. So now I'm going to the whiteboard again. Is it clear? See, the same Mombasa question is coming up. We'll take it up at the end of the class and repeat it, no issues at all. Fine, I'll just share the whiteboard right now. Just a second. Okay, why specific countries cultivate specific commodities? We need to go for geography. For that, you need to wait. Is it clear? Fine. The question regarding Lake Victoria, I've told it again and again. Repetitive questions I'll take at the end of the class. Have patience. Fine. Now moving to the 3 countries, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. Zambia, Zimbabwe, Mozambique. See, first, specifics. For example, Mozambique, there is coal resources. Zimbabwe, similar to Malawi, there is tobacco. We saw tobacco in Malawi also. Large amount. So these are tobacco and coal are primary sector commodities. They directly come from. This is mining industry and this is agricultural industry. And apart from this, all the 3 countries have something in common. They're also known for metallic minerals. And remember, they do only ores, like mining. metallic mineral mining, all the three countries. Is it clear? Fine. Now we have two more countries. The first one was this, Botswana. Botswana is known for diamonds, diamond mining. Fine. And if you remember the mnemonic I would have told you. I told you the boat was there in a desert, isn't it? See, I never told you in which desert it is actually there. Is it fine? Botswana is part of Kalahari deserts, where Kalahari, you would have heard it in news or maybe in movies or so on and so forth, the Great Kalahari Desert. So larger part of Botswana is technically a desert, 80 to 90%. It's a very, very dry land. And that ends the discussion on Botswana. Zambia, we don't have a specific commodity. Together, we can say metallic mineral mining. Is that clear? Fine. So if you're ready, we'll go to South Africa. And after describing South Africa, we'll close the class. Okay, I think the remaining 10 minutes, we can simply close with South Africa. Okay. So there are multiple repetitions. So if you're ready, I'll finish the last part. 4 points on South Africa. Then we'll end the class. Okay, fine. So now, see, we need to discuss South Africa for historical aspect also. First, I'll give the contemporary aspect. Like right now, what are they dominant about? See, remember, South Africa is the godfather of mining industry. Find so many minerals you have. And it's not about mining ores, actually. They also, not just ores, but at times they process ores. And you'll also find the finished metals. Finished metals. See, many metals, I'm not just talking about one. You take gold, platinum, chromium, manganese. These are just 4 things. And when I use the word platinum, not just platinum, you have many metals along with platinum called as platinum group of metals. And all of them are produced by South Africa. And of course, diamonds. So if someone comes and asks you what is South Africa is known for, you can simply say mining industry. And in all these metals, they are number 1 in the world. Like if not number 1, because statistics will change between years, you always find them in 1, 2, or 3. Leading mining country. Okay, this is the point with reference to economics. Okay, you can note down the names of the metals. Very important country for natural resources. Fine. So if you're ready, we need to add points on history. 4 simple points. Point 1. Okay, I will proceed now. See, usually when we talk about the process of colonies, you will find white people as invaders, and the white people will fight against natives. For example, you take India, British people, whites, fight against black and brown people. India. Okay. So this is the usual case. You can take any colonial history. This will be the usual parameter. When you take South African history is slightly different. You find this only in certain part of the world. Okay. In South Africa, there were white invaders or white colonialists. But these white invaders and colonialists fought against white settlers. Fine. White settlers meaning even before British people arrived, there was a section of white people who properly settled in Africa, and they became part of Africa itself. Okay, they became African. Like they got assimilated into society. And you ask me which people were that? They were the Dutch people who come from the country of Netherlands. We will see Netherlands when we discuss Europe. Just understand we have a country called as the Netherlands. Fine. So when British people came, rather than fighting against blacks, they fought against white settlers. Now you can guess which white will win. Will the white settlers win or will the white colonialists win? Well, as usual, British people won, Dutch settlers were defeated. Okay, and you need to understand why this happened. Because why will white people fight against white people? Do they have any problem? Well, the Dutch did not have any problem, but the British had something else in mind. They wanted to capture the diamond mines of South Africa. Okay, diamond mining has been going on for more than 100 years. And remember the time period in which the wars took place. These wars took place in two different time periods. One was in 1880s, you know the years down. Second was from 1899 to 1902. These are together called as Boer Wars, the fight between British people and the Dutch people. And at the end, the Dutch people were defeated. British won and they controlled the diamond mines. Is that clear? That is point one. Fine. Second, third, and fourth will be simple. Second, I'm going to introduce a personality. Third point, also one more personality. And fourth, we need to understand the Constitution of South Africa. Just getting the link. Ready? I think I've given enough time for copying. If you're ready, I'll flip over. Okay, three more points and we'll close. Three simple points. Okay, that ends the discussion now. Now moving on to point number 2. There it is. See, you should know this person in world history. In world history class, I definitely mentioned. There is a colonizer known as Cecil Rhodes. I'll just tell you what is the ambition of Cecil Rhodes, what did he plan to do? This British colonizer, yeah, very good, one person has commented already. This British colonizer, South Africa came under British control. And I've told you before when we discussed about Egyptian pyramids, Egypt came under British control. Cecil Rhodes wanted to connect the entire area, which means he wanted to colonize the entire area. He wanted to control Africa. One good thing is, British were not able to control the entire thing, because there were other countries like France, there were countries like Germany, there was Belgium, and all of them occupied certain areas here. That is why British was not able to control this entire area. But the point is, his objective is to control the mining industry of Africa. And large parts of Africa were named after him. For example, there were two countries, Northern Rhodesia, Southern Rhodesia. See, think about it. If I'm going to name a country, Rhodes, if I'm going to name a country based on a person, you can understand how much he dominated the entire region. Is it fine? So only later, Northern Rhodesia became Zambia and Southern Rhodesia became Zimbabwe. These are new names of countries, people. Actually, it was called as Rhodesia. Fine, they took this off. They were like, this is our old history. We don't want the name of a very bad racist person. We'll keep our own African names. These are African names. These are the old names. Fine. Now coming to point number 3. See, after South Africa, okay, I'll just repeat this. Cecil Rhodes is an important colonialist. He wanted to control the mining industry in Africa. His control was very dominant. That countries were named after him as Northern Rhodesia and Southern Rhodesia. After independence, these old names were shed by these countries and they renamed themselves with African names, Zambia and Zimbabwe. That was a point we discussed. Now moving to South Africa, point is very simple. See, after South Africa got independence, a policy was followed in South Africa. Fine. To understand what policy, we will understand the meaning of this word, brotherhood. Hood means people. Brother means closeness. See, when I use the word brotherhood, I use this word term, isn't it? All Indians are our brothers and sisters. We are talking about closeness of people. We are talking about people looking at each other as relatives, looking at each other as friends. Now I'll introduce one more word. The word Heid also means people. This is a Dutch word, but you add one more word here, it becomes different. Apart. Apart is keeping separate. So that is how you created this policy known as apartheid policy. So it is essentially a policy of separation. So how did people get separated? People got separated through race. Fine. Now to understand the idea of what exactly does it mean when you talk about apartheid policy. See, the point is, you had racial segregation. Racial segregation is segregation based on my biological features, my hair color, my skin color, the shape of the skull, the shape of the nose, so on and so forth. Not every individual in by different parts of the world looks same. So based on that, you had two different colonies. For example, you had restaurants for black people, you had restaurants for white people, the electricity service, the milk service, newspaper service, your train stations, your schools, all the areas there was proper segregation. The problem why apartheid policy is so redundant in modern world history is, even though you had slavery back then, after a point of time, slavery was recognized that it is very bad and we shouldn't be doing this exactly. But even in 20th century, people were following this apartheid policy, which was wrong by any international standard. Many leaders fought against apartheid policy post World War II, that is after 1945. So from 1950s, you see the movement becoming very, very stronger. 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, there was one leader who fought blood and iron. And that individual, the African leader, I believe most of you are familiar with, is Nelson Mandela. Okay, so he fought for more than 20 years. Many people have texted, good. More than 20 years. And finally, he was successful in abolishing the apartheid policy. Fine. Just understand the climax part alone. After abolishing the apartheid policy, South Africa came up with a new constitution. Okay. And this constitution is one of the most progressive constitutions in the world. Progressive constitutions in the world. Why should you know like the South African constitution? Just because of one reason, people. In your general studies 2 syllabus, you find a word in your syllabus known as World Constitution. So important constitutions and features you will be learning as part of syllabus. There'll be a class also for this. I'm just introducing. South Africa is one of the best in the world. Okay, and I'll just give you a few seconds and last point of the day. With that, I'll close the class. Then I'll just address 2 to 3 specific doubts which has been repeated. And after addressing the doubts, I'll give my email ID also. Okay, just few seconds. Okay, who followed the apartheid policy? It's the whites. Fine. After the war, both British and Dutch people became close because now they felt that they can rule together. Dutch got assimilated into British society and the blacks were left out. So that's what happened. Okay, so the apartheid policy was white versus black segregation. Is that clear? So coming to the last point, with that, we'll close this session. Let's go to the map for this if you're ready. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just hold on. Last point for today. So you'll find this place right here, this one in South Africa. More than the capital cities of South Africa, this place is very important. Cape Town, right here, Cape Town. Cape Town is known for Day Zero. Day Zero. I think people of Chennai will be very familiar with this word Day Zero. Day Zero means it is the time, you can note this line down, time in which the water supplies of a city go dry. Chennai was very, very close to addressing Day Zero in 2019. Similar to that, Cape Town was in 2017 and 2018. See, you go to different parts of the world, in different continents, there are different cities which are struggling with water problems. Now, why should I understand Cape Town? See, if you can understand Cape Town, then those constructive policies can be implemented in Chennai. So how to solve the water problems, we can learn from Cape Town. When we move across other continents, I'll give you the names of them also. Okay. And there was one question you were asking, where is Malawi? People, Malawi is here. I'm not making up any country. Look here. This is where Malawi is. One person asked, where exactly is Malawi? It's as an irregular shape. All countries have irregular shape. It's having a long, it is having a long shape. Maybe that's why it was difficult for you to pinpoint. Okay. So that ends the discussion here. And before we close, I'll give the mail ID. Just hold on. See, just one request before we close the class. I know it's past one. You can just close your notebooks. No problem at all. Close your notebooks. See, thing is, with reference to your discussion on map reading, we'll be having continuity with class. For example, we have a class on Friday, and Friday will start where we left today's session. So if you really don't have the habit of revising all those 20 countries, it might be difficult for you to follow. Once we take up the class, you might be like, where was the story? What was the first country we saw? What was the concept we missed? So I strongly recommend, see, it's not going to be very difficult recollecting your mnemonics. So before the class, just take 30 or 40 minutes, just revise the names of the countries and major points we saw, and then we'll try to overcome how things are. Okay, so that ends the discussion for today. I'll just give the mail ID because I can understand, yeah, more than 350 participants. It won't be possible to address each and every doubt. And remember, I'll give the mail ID. Please ask doubts with reference to only what was taken in today's class. The doubts for other countries will take it up over a period of time. Just hold on. Let me share the email ID alone. So write to me. Just a second. No, last part, when you want to finish it off, your stencil doesn't work properly. Just hold on. Yeah, there it is. That's a big dot there. It's Gautam.ar. Shankar IAS. Again, a big dot there. .in. Okay. So please email your doubts. It wouldn't be possible to answer all of you right now itself. So that ends the class. So I know that some of you were requesting. Rwanda is known for Rwandan genocide. Like, you can text me, you can send an email to me. I'll definitely address that. No issues. If many emails were in the same topic again, then I can pull it on. So I just leave you right here. Take care and see you on Friday, people.